from the Southeast region. Secretary General of the Chidi-led faction, Mazi Okechukwu Isiguzoro in Abakaliki, said Nigerians should be aware that changing the narrative with falsehood for inordinate ambitions will have disastrous consequences. And the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has issued a February warning to the federal government to fully implement the minimum wage to its members or face industrial action. In a communique issued at the end of its 41st National Executive Council NEC meeting held at the Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ile-Ife, Osun State, the union lamented the leadership of the hardship its members were facing due to the haphazard nature of the implementation of the Integrated Personnel Payroll System, IPPIS. And now, United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has said 1.74 million children are malnourished in the northeast region of Nigeria. It said 6 local government areas of Machina, Yusufari, Nguru, Bade, Burasi, and Gaidam, all in the northern fringes of Yobe State, fell under the critical level of integrated food scarcity and security phase classification of September to December 2021 and acute malnutrition analysis among children. UNICEF, in a document obtained by reporters, said based on the ICP's analysis from September 2021 to August 2021, a total of 1.74 million children aged 6 to 59 months are acutely malnourished in Yobe, Borno, and Adamawa states alone, and out of the number, 614,000 are severely malnourished, 1,129,000 are moderately malnourished. And now to part of our talking points. No fewer than 11 people were killed by gunmen in Kurmi Masara in Zangon-Kotef local government area of Kaduna State on Sunday. Security forces said over 30 houses and properties were burned in the attack, just as the injured have been evacuated for urgent medical attention. Commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, confirmed the attack and said security operatives were on a search and rescue operation and a pursuit of the attackers. And that's it this morning on the trending news stories. My name is Iheanacho Prince. And now to get into a conversation this morning, we're talking national reconciliation and healing. Our guest is Ene Mary Aldu, who is the founder who's the founder of Forgiveness and Healing. She'll be talking with us this morning. She's here with her colleague. I'll be talking in a bit. But before we get into the conversation, before we get talking with our guest, let's hear what the president had to say about national healing.
Today, with every single economy in the world is in a crisis, we still face security challenges in parts of the country, while our society suffers from high loss of moral rectitude, which is driven by unbridled craving for political control. An underlying cause of most of the problems we have faced as a nation is our consistent harping on artificially contrived fault lines that we have harbored and allowed unnecessarily to fester. In addition, institutions such as civil service, police, the judiciary, the military all suffered from a general decline. We need to begin a sincere process of national healing, and this anniversary presents a genuine opportunity to eliminate old and outworn perceptions that are always put to test in the lie they always are. The stereotype of thinking of ourselves as coming from one part of the country before seeing ourselves as Nigerians is a key starting point to project us on the road to our deserved nation's evolution and integration. To start this healing process, We are already blessed with the most important asset any nation requires for such, our people. And this has manifested globally in the exploits of Nigerians in many fields. It has been demonstrated time and time again that Nigerians in the diaspora frequently excel in science, technology, medicine, sports, arts, and many other fields. Similarly, the creativity, ingenuity, and resourcefulness of the Nigerian at home has resulted in globally recognized endeavors. I am convinced that if we pursue our aspirations together, we would be able to achieve whatever we desire. That informed our adopting the theme together to mark this epochal event. Together, we can change our condition for the better, and more importantly, together we can do much more for ourselves and for our country.
And that's the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria there, President Muhammadu Buhari, speaking at Nigeria's 60th independence celebration, marking that day. He said, "We are all we need to recover, to heal. The greatest assets that, begins recovery, reconciliation and healing is the human capital." And he says, together we can build a nation where, everybody is happy, a nation that would move forward, a nation that is progressive. And well, to join the conversation, like I mentioned earlier this morning, is Mary Aldo, founder of Forgiveness and Healing. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Miss Aldo.
Thank you.
And so let's get to the conversation quickly. So it's been over 5 decades since the Nigerian Civil War, and over time, Nigerians have continued to say, many Nigerians believe that we haven't really healed. We haven't come to a place where we're thinking nationalistically, we're thinking one Nigeria, united under God, and moving progressively. At what point does reconciliation begin?
Okay. Where do I begin? Let's see. Right now, there's a lot of talk about building trust. About Nigerians building their patriotic spirit. But the question is, how do you build trust? There's a process to that. You can't hurt me and come and meet me and say, trust me again. You have to be sorry for the wrong you've done. I have to be able to forgive you. I have to be able to heal. So right now, in Nigeria, there are a lot of traumatized Nigerian citizens. If you see 10 Nigerians, 8 of them are traumatized because of various forms of insecurity, various forms of abuse that they've experienced. Especially victims of insurgency and the NSAS victims. So many cultural, psychological, and sociological trauma. So now, talking about reconciliation, I've not seen a situation where they've tried to address Nigerians, especially after the NSAS report came out. Nothing. We've not heard anything.
Well, that's a very controversial issue at the moment. There
was a recommendation that they need to apologize to Nigerians.
Well, when you do not accept that there's something wrong, that something happened.
The report said something happened.
Is there such? Well, there's also contention in that report. The report has been, what's the word for it now? Has been discredited.
Okay. Moving forward then, how about victims of insurgency? Victims of abuse, victims of police brutality. These people are still remaining victims because they've not been able to move on. They've not been able to move on from their hurts. They've not been able to move on from their trauma. Some of them can't sleep. Some of them can't walk at night. You understand? So before we start talking about reconciliation, before we start talking about building trust again, we need to be able to forgive and heal. And I'm not just talking about one aspect of the society, everyone in the society. We need to be able to move on from the trauma we are experiencing currently.
Very importantly, I love the fact that you mentioned that we need to start to heal and we need to, begin to trust again. Now, people do not even trust their government.
Exactly.
People do not trust their neighbors. They don't trust people from other regions and people who speak different languages. We have a very, very, we have a very diverse, have seriously diverse ethnicities, and people from one region or people from one state do not even trust the other people from the other state. So when you hear people talk about Nigeria, they talk about Nigeria in the context of we against them, rather than talk about Nigeria as a whole. So when we talk about the issues in the north, we talk about the issues in the northeast, we talk about issues in the northwest, rather than talk about general insecurity in Nigeria. Everybody who goes through this is first of all a Nigerian before they are from the northeast or from the southeast or from the southwest. So how can we begin to, how do we get to the point where Nigerians begin to look at themselves as one people rather than people from this region or that region?
Okay. Like I said earlier on, trauma. I believe that is the cause of all this division. And many Nigerians have lost their patriotic spirit, like you mentioned. Togetherness, devotion to your country, loyalty to your country, we've lost that. And that still boils down to the trauma. So when you keep hearing stories like this, you start looking out for yourself. You start watching your back. You don't know who to trust. You understand? But when we start having conversations about forgiveness and healing, when we start making this a conversation, we want to move forward. We want to be able to look at our Muslim brother, regardless of ethnicity. We want to sit down and have conversations about forgiveness and healing.
So it starts from having conversations.
Exactly.
It starts from talking about these issues.
Exactly.
And until we begin to talk about these issues nationalistically, we may never heal and reconcile.
And one more thing, sorry to cut you short. Victims. Like, for example, communities that have had community clashes and victims in IDP camps. These people feel neglected. It's one thing being a victim once after an offense has been committed, but to remain in that stage of to continue being a victim is traumatizing. For example, look at those in the IDP camp. They are still victims continuously, abused.
Even in the camp.
Do you understand? Even in the camp, and these are people that were pushed out of their homes, and they say, okay, come here for the meantime and till you can go back. But the camp is like hell for them. So this conversation is not just for people like in a hall or in offices. We want to take it to them. We care about you. So that's why sometimes we even host counseling sessions, because you need to hear the stories these people tell you. You will shed tears.
And these people are probably nursing some form of revenge.
At night, like when they are sleeping, they scream at night because they still see the killing, the whole horrific experience. They still see it when they sleep. They are not even normal, some of them. So these people are in the camp there. So we take these conversations to them. We tell them that, okay, we Nigerians, we care about you. We don't even care about their religion or where they are from. Just know we care about you. We want you to heal. We are sorry for what has happened to you. Talk to us. Talking helps. Talking helps. In fact, sometimes it even helps more than the rice, the milk, and whatever we take to them. Talking helps because we're looking at the situation where it seems like even the government doesn't speak to them as much. The government isn't, telling them anything, and they feel left out. We'll continue this conversation around that. Keep up with us on your radio experience. You can count on Onyeka Wenu's birthday is today, and she says, "One love, keep us together."
Eagles 102. Girl, I can tell it's been lying and pretending that it's faithful and he loves you.
Hanging out with friends is such a hobby, but chilling with your girlfriend? Such a booster. We talk about love, family, relationship, the shady, hilarious, fun, juicy, messy gossip in town. And the gentlemen aren't off the table. Girlfriends with Olije, Mondays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Exclusive to Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just 15,000 naira? Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Thursdays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. The Entrepreneur. Talk your business for just 15,000 naira. This promo runs from February 1st to April 30th.
Eagles Morning Rise with
Iheanacho Prince. We appreciate you for staying with us on your radio experience. You can count on this morning on Eagles Outlook. We're talking of a situation where everything, all that goes to them a lot of times is relief materials. And at the end of the day, they're stuck in camps and, in their homes, feeling traumatized with no form of therapy or anything to, get them going again. He's talking with us about how we can get back to healing and having a better nation as it is. You can join the conversation. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Messages are welcome on 090-9705-4450. Don't forget, we're streaming live at Eagles FM Abuja on YouTube and Facebook. You can watch us live and see how pretty our guests look this morning. You can also stream live and download the Eagles FM app and join us there. Big shout out to everybody who's joining in from across the world. We appreciate you for tuning in with us on your radio experience. You can count on. Now back to it, Miss Aldu. We're talking earlier about some of those who are or who have been in IDP camps and who feel neglected and just abandoned by those who should be taking care of them or looking to ensure that they heal and recover. Now, talking about people who are being rehabilitated, who are getting the attention of government. The bandits and terrorists and Boko Haram people, those who have terrorized these people who are in the camps now, who rendered them homeless, who, took food from their mouth, took their family and loved ones, are being rehabilitated. We've heard government say we're rehabilitating Boko Haram, surrendered Boko Haram, terrorists, and those who are even captured. But then the victims are let off, giving good clothes and all. But the people in the IDP camps, don't get as much. What kind of effect do you think this would leave on those who are in the IDP camps, who have left their ancestral homes, and are suffering?
Okay. So, this is a conversation we're actually currently having now, the rehabilitation of bandits and Boko Haram members. We're not saying don't rehabilitate. Go ahead. It's a good thing for nation building, peace building. But how about the victims? How about the victims who have lost their homes, like you said, farmlands, who has lost family members, who have lost friends? What is the need for them, victims? So how do you think they will feel when they see it on the news, when they hear it on radio that these people are being rehabilitated, yet they are being neglected? If like I said, it's good, the rehabilitation is good, but give the same attention to the victims. Because the thing is that, like I said, Nigerians are seriously traumatized. Nigerians are seriously angry. Like, the anger is obvious. You can, when you have conversations with some victims or their family members, you could see it, how they are shaking and talking. The anger is so much, and this anger one day will lead to something else if we don't tame it right now. So, if these victims are continuously being neglected, it will one day victims will become offenders. Because why not offenders are being taken care of now. Offenders are being rehabilitated, given nice clothes, start up business, giving funds. Some of them are giving houses, and then the victims are there. So one day the victims, or for those who have been killed, their family members will become offenders one day. They'll become vengeful. And then and then this will also make crimes to reoccur. Of course, because either the victims will start committing crimes, or the offenders who are not seeing the effects of what they are doing will continue committing these crimes. So seriously, the rehabilitation process is good, but I believe the same attention should be given to victims.
Let's talk about punishment and for crime, justice as it is. If people seem not to see justice being meted out, they also become offended, right? So if, for instance, I'm a victim of, Boko Haram attacks and I lost somebody, and then I see the person who killed, my brother or somebody walking and roaming freely, how does that make me feel? Of course I would feel terrible, right? Now, in a situation where people haven't seen people brought to justice on account or brought to book on account of terrorism and account of, every form of violence, doesn't this also breed some level of rage and also, the breeding of, or the feeling of revenge, or wanting people wanting to take laws into their hands? If we can't get justice from government, then we should also, serve justice.
Yes. So that is why there are some, for me, there are some loopholes in this rehabilitation process, because I believe that the offenders should have conversations with victims. There should be a platform where offenders will have conversations with victims. There should be a platform, if not directly or indirectly, because I'm not satisfied with just seeing pictures on the internet saying we have rehabilitated this set of people. It's not enough. Whether they speak English, they speak Hausa or any other tribe, Idoma, Igbo, those offenders should open their mouths and say we are sorry. There's a thing about saying sorry. It sounds little, it looks little, but it goes a long way. Nigerians are very forgiving people. Nigerians are very loving people. Nigerians are communal people. So there's no way, at least if these offenders open their mouth to say we are sorry on TV or on platforms, it will go a long way. We're not okay with just them posting pictures of these offenders. We're saying they're even smiling and holding placards. It's not enough. They should speak directly or indirectly to these victims, because like I said, this trauma, this whole anger and this whole resentment, is making Nigerians to lose their patriotic spirits. Patriotism, devotion for one's country, love for one's country, loyalty for one's country. How do you expect me as a Nigerian to be loyal, to be devoted, to love my country when that country has not seen to it that I'm being properly taken care of, has not seen to it that my mental state, my mental health is being properly taken care of. I'm not seeing to it that I've gotten justice. How do I then be loyal? So it's killing the hope of Nigerians. It's killing the hope. It's killing the trust. It's killing the peace.
Do you think government isn't taking this seriously? Getting people to be accountable for their actions and also helping those who have been hurt to find, healing?
Well, recently I've noticed that conversations have started coming up about this whole healing and reconciliation process. And the conversation started because citizens started talking about it. You understand? So I think it got to their attention and they're actually giving attention to it. So I think it's a conversation that they are also having, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Actions. We need to see actions.
What kind of actions do you want to see?
Okay. Like I gave an example. During this rehabilitation process, we don't even know about these citizens, we don't know the whole procedure, we don't know the whole process. We don't even want to know everything, but at least we should be in, because we are the victims, right? We should know how these people are being rehabilitated. Because, come on, I still live in fear that probably these people that claim to be rehabilitated will one day still become offenders. I still live in that fear. And I'm right to live in that fear. So at least we should be in on that process. And like I said, they should be able to apologize themselves, regardless of the language they speak. They should be able to communicate, because they are also Nigerians. So it's like brother offending brother. You understand? Sister offending sister. You should be able to communicate with me. I know I've wronged you. That way, other offenders will even watch them and see them. It will even quicken, fasten the rehabilitation process. When they see these offenders talking, other offenders will watch them, and it will fasten the rehabilitation process. But we're not allowing these people. They're not letting them talk, have conversations. That's one. Secondly, like I said, there should be counseling sessions for victims of communal clashes and victims that are in IDP camps. Like, it's not enough that we give them relief materials. It's seriously not enough. They are troubled. I can't even describe the condition. I'm sure you visited these camps. They are really troubled. Especially the women who have lost their husbands, their sons, their children, especially the children. You see little children that shouldn't even understand what loss is. They've lost their parents, their entire family, their neighbors, their friends. And these children grow.
This is for all those who found themselves in situations they'd rather not be in. Maybe by their making, by some wrong decision, or maybe by chance, circumstances. It's time to break free. Scream with me. He done to me. I did stay with my uncle. My portion they double of the work when I get to do. Say that they do, people, for God's sake. Now me they wake up first, now me they sleep last. Now me they beat because I know they fit past. But how I go pass when I not fit rest? From sunrise to sunset, my life now so stress. If I say make I relax small, my uncle go they holla. The thing they break my head like say I sleep for banana. Before when I won't fall, even the ground no day. Because the wife contribute to make me suffer so day. I look up, I look down, I know they happy throughout. Make I run, I think I'm no need to pull out. But if I make mistake, now conk I they receive. So one day my uncle try himself, he no believe. Now so I grab his hand, suspend the knock. He call my name, I answer, uncle, make we talk. Your children know they see the kind wahala I they see. If I wrong, correct me. Them no force to make you carry me. I say, oh, I say. He don't do me. He don't do me. Whoa, he don't do me. He don't do me. Whoa, lie. Mr. Agada, he too dey beat him wife. Meanwhile, him wife love him like die. Waiting be life. Day in, day out, her own now to please the man. No matter listen to Agada, him get something to say. You know, say no be say I like waiting they happen, and it's not all fights. At times, me and my wife they battle. Apologies, definitely I did drop. Now my temper they make me go over the top. Small things they irritate me. My wife, I know she loves me. I love her too, but I can't stop treating her badly. Bullish man, you know go stop before you kill him. We know it's in your nature, but then try to control him. Another day, another blow in the eye. One injury too many made the woman decide. I can't take it anymore. All these bruises, what for? Instead of love and respect, I fear my husband be more. Love become hate. Nothing line day between them. Enough is enough. She ran away with the children. She say. Whoa, lie. She say.
It was 102.3 Abuja. Let's spice up your day. Tune in to a breath of fresh air. It's all fun and games until it gets extra and better. 102.3 Extra, weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with Oli J. Cheers to something new.
Eagles Morning Ride.
with
Iheanacho Prince. All right, 9:37 is the time. Thank you so much for staying with us on your radio experience. You can count on your Auntie Eagles Outlook, and we're talking national healing and reconciliation. There's several angles to this, but then this morning we're looking at those who may have had traumatic experiences, those healing. Now we've been talking with Mary Audu, who is the founder. Forgiveness and healing. She's talking with us is how we can get to that point where the things get better for those who have been victims and those who we can actually just reconcile and have a better nation so that we can move past all of these issues. Who have been victims of insurgency, the people who have been kidnapped, those people are going through traumas. Now, these people may not have had witnessed those may not have been in the heat of the war or any of those things, but just people who are sitting back in their homes. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of anxiety in the country. All right, so you're driving and you're thinking, what if somebody pops up in the middle of the road? What if something happens? What if somebody picks me up from my house? What if my kids are kidnapped in school? Because that's what's happening across the country. Kids go to school and the next thing you hear, they're being kidnapped from the schools. Government and individuals and even the private sector can come up with maybe a program to see how these people, the anxiety can be doused a little, where people can actually just talk about their issues and vent and maybe feel better. Do you think that's going to help?
It's really going to go a long way in helping. Let me use myself for example. Every day that I leave the house, I say, God, I don't know what will happen on the way. I don't know what will happen at the destination. I don't know what will happen. Like you said, anxiety. When I'm driving, my car is locked. My window is up because anything can just happen. Anything can just happen. We've had situations, especially in Abuja, and I think it's like snatch your phone. Or like you said, you are sitting in your house and then your house is not even safe. It is not your neighbor harming you. It's somebody coming from outside harming you. Or let's talk about schools. I attended a boarding school also. Gone are those days that parents will cross their leg and say, my children is safe. My children are safe. Your child is in a boarding school, but your heart is still beating. These days, I think it's even better keeping your child at home with you, where you can see and try and monitor what is going on. This trauma transcends beyond IDP, community clashes. It's also about us, about me, about you, those indirect victims. Victims, us, or we that watch on TV. It makes us anxious. It makes us scared. We're living in fear. For Christ's sake, this is our country where we don't have any other place to go. This is our home. What's the worst thing that can happen to you if you are living? The worst thing that can happen to you is living in fear in your own home. So this, like I said, this conversation should become a normal conversation for everybody, in churches, in the mosque, in offices, in schools, in marketplaces. Let's have these conversations. People should talk. People should talk about what is going on and about how to move on and about how to heal. So because this